It's the week before Operation Tilt-a-Titan, and Hutton Orbital is a hive of activity, which means people appear to be rushing this way and that, turning in circles, excreting all sorts of sticky substances, and bumping into things. Hackswing have had some extensive training missions this week, which have involved dressing up someone in a Thargoid suit and then walloping them with foam sticks. Anti-Ida, or is it anti-IDA, has been seen wandering the corridors a little lost. 5 people who usually aren't lost are this station's presenters. They've all made it here on time, well, mostly, have worked out the rather convoluted set of notes that the 6th member of the team left them under a packet of hobnobs and, sticking to the master plan, have managed to more or less read the first line on the instructions.
Our mics are live. Good evening, everyone. It's me. It's my turn on the buttons. Nothing's caught fire yet, and it looks like we've got a show.
Step away from the buttons.
Oh, but I haven't pushed them in ages.
I know, and these ones are still working, and we want to keep them that way. So, no part-timers allowed.
Oh, okay.
Good evening, everyone. It's me. My turn on the buttons. Nothing has caught fire yet, and it looks like we've got a show.
I guess I shouldn't light these candles, then.
No, unless you want to set the sprinklers off. No.
How many candles are there exactly? If we're talking about a hanky birthday quantity, we might want to warn the fire department.
11.
You enjoyed that, didn't you?
Are you sure I can't set fire to them?
I'd rather you didn't, just in case. The show's holding together, but not sure what would happen if the fire suppression systems made the scripts all soggy.
Well, it'd probably make more sense than normal.
Well, let's see. Missing blue mafia causes red faces.
Misunderstandings galore as Granny pops by for a visit.
Too hot, too messy, week 81 update.
Hudson definitely didn't stop the inauguration. Probably.
11. 11, 11, 11.
The Hutton Guide to being ready for Tilt-a-Titan.
And if all that wasn't enough, it's time for some BGS news.
First this evening, a warning to all Hutton pilots that it is absolutely worth doing your research before attempting to show off, or teach, or spend some considerable time attempting something while someone else is watching. Commander Vantian, ever helpful, or so he tells us, received an incoming message from a certain Commander Watson asking for a little assistance. It turns out that in an effort to be properly macho, Watson had been spending the last few years in the galaxy point blank refusing to engineer anything on his ships. He hadn't spent sulfur on his long-range coffee machine, he hadn't gone and got a pile of composite materials to upgrade his comfy chair, and most definitely hadn't got more pew-pew in his pew for when his pew-pew was on the cards. So, our very own Vantian stepped up, fired up his onboard computer, and offered to show Watson the ropes. Most of which entailed getting invitations to visit the various engineers in the galaxy. The first couple were simple. Drop a bit of cash. The workshop opened. Then it came to Liz Ryder, distant great-granddaughter of a certain person mentioned in the Dark Wheel. and for some reason she's taken up as best buddies with the local mafia outfit, the Euribia Blue Mafia, who, of course, won't let you talk to Liz unless you're at least on speaking terms with them. Aha, said Vantian, sounding rather like Cecil at this point. Easy. Let's just grab a few bounties. This was his first mistake. As the Mafia own the system, it's an anarchy, which means they don't care whether you're naughty or not, and indeed take pride in the lawless tag in their res sites. Having flown his carrier back some 2,000 light years for the mission, and not one to waste the opportunity, Mr. 21 told Watson to stay put while he blew up a few ne'er-do-wells. Well, they might have been. I mean, after all, they were in an anarchy. And encouraged them limp it to material action to stop off the engineering tanks. Okay, let's head out on foot for a laugh. Bound to be some missions. And at Flurble, the oddly named station in that system, they were indeed asking for a little help, targeting a rival gang from a nearby system. Quick hop in a crate to the system next door, pop open the points of interest list, and realise that there was only one settlement owned by the rival faction. Not a big problem. Only needed to apply some percussive augments to 10 of the Mafia there. Should be simple. On approach, this is where Vantian should have noticed something was a little off. It was on the dark side of the moon. And it was very dark. Lit up nicely when docking permission was granted, and the two of them hopped out on foot. Did you see which way the settlement was from the pad? Well, this should have been a hint. Night vision on. The sight of a tower over the brow of the landing pad was enough to send the two of them scurrying into town, eager for discussions with the local mafia. It turns out that they'd scarpered. The lot of them. That ship, which was heading for orbit as they arrived, yes, that contained the entire mafia gang. Knock knock on the command center door. No one home. A quick chop chop with the arc cutter on the habitation section. Stony silence. Not wanting to waste his time, 21 came up with a cunning plan. Let's power it up. That's bound to attract some attention. So, a quick moon hop back to the ship for a power regulator, another go with the arc cutter, and a quick zap with the energy link, and bingo! One power regulator in its housing. It's not turning on. Oh, bother. Back in a second. One E-breach later, and the base is powered up, glowing nicely, and the two of them perched on top of a nearby tower, awaiting the arrival of the Mafia. Won't know what hit them. But still, nothing. Aha, 21 said, getting more Cecil-like by the minute, and shot a nearby turret, which set the alarms off. But it's clearly not the kind of alarm that anyone pays any attention to. It just plays the Awooga waltz really loudly, to no one in particular. So, the two of them trudged back to the ship, fired up their console, and checked on the local Mafia group. A note popped up on their screen. Sorry, left the oven on, back next week, lots of love, Don gone. P.S. Don't worry about the message saying bust, it's a cash flow thing. So, Watson was sent back to do courier deliveries until Liz was kind enough to talk to him, and 21 was sent back to school to learn to check out missions before accepting them. Oh, and he's now wanted by the Blue Mafia, which explains why he's hiding this week.
Here at Hutton, we're very aware that many of you tune into the news with only half an ear, probably like chicks, while delivering mugs or gin or beam laser coloured retribution or Grelix. Which probably explains what happened at the Orbital this week. It quickly became apparent to Leia Wolf that something had gone badly wrong with communications when the first Dolphin arrived on Friday morning at Hutton. What, or more accurately, who, stepped off the Dolphin was accompanied by the smell of lavender, soap, the click-clack of knitting needles, and a lot of blue rinse. A shipload of nanas, grannies, ladies of an older persuasion. According to the noisy, bustling one at the front of the group, they'd been invited, and they were needed. Not a problem, said the arrivals desk, and put them up in some of the comfier rooms available at the Orbital. Next, a Type 6 loaded to the brim with plastic weaponry of all sorts. The kind that needed vigorous arm action to pump up to the required pressure, and an assortment of foam darts for the attention of Hackswing was stamped on the outside. Unsure whether they were actually dangerous or not, cargo handlers moved the crates to a nearby warehouse. Then there was a boatload of bananas. This one was easy. As everyone knows, the apology officer uses them to measure things. Given how many there were, there must have been either a lot of things needing measured or something really big. Judging by the quantity, probably the size of a capital ship. Given that the incoming warehouse wasn't climate controlled, scrap frameshift drives for making mugs being best kept as close to absolute zero as possible, they put them in with the nanas. Finally, was a shipment of pans. Once again, the enterprising cargo handlers knew exactly what to do with these, clearly for Flossy. The only problem was, on opening the box, which was suspiciously small, the pans were tiny. Nano pans. Teeny little mini nano pans. But, not being judgmental or inquisitive sorts, they sent them to Flossy's quarters as they were clearly important Hutton business. It was only when Lael started reviewing exactly why there was a group of older ladies insisting on having the crust cut off their tuna and cucumber sandwiches, the smell of overripe bananas wafting through the station, the ladies had turned the heating up, and the kitchen team complaining that the pans were no good for fried breakfast even if you were from mini Glasgow, that she put two and two together. An update edict has been issued. All commanders preparing for Tilt a Titan early next week. Would you please report to Nurse Wyeth to have eye tests and your ears washed out? Further to last week's instructions from Commander Flossy, Hackswing are to be equipped with nanites and soft anti-Titan munitions. I nearly said musicians. Any jokes found bringing nanas? Any jokers found bringing nanas, Nerf guns, or nanopans to the Orbital will be sent to the naughty step, which this week will be located in the vicinity of the Thargoid warfront. Anyone found attempting to transport anyone's granny to the warfront will get a very stern look.
Week 81 of Too Hot, Too Messy saw commanders collectively pass 121,000 deliveries. Numbers were slightly down, but still above 1,000 deliveries in the week, and this was enough for the 4-week average to rise to a notch crotchet above 1,000 for the first time in a month. Grandpa, what did you do in Too Hot, Too Messy? Congratulations go to Commander Nemb, who became the third commander to pass 10,000 deliveries. It's about time you gave that good-for-nothing headhunter a kick in the flight seat and told him to get some mugs delivered. Well, you should be able to get a parking space since it looks like as though no one has made a Hutton run in the last 7 days. Bring Freddos, nuclear fuel, toilet paper and a pint of milk, will you?
Far be it from us here at Hutton to indulge in wild speculation, more than 3 weeks in a row, but luckily, in terms of this particular article, it's only been a couple of weeks so far. As part of the joint investigation by Hutton Orbital and the Galnet News Digest, we've been digging into the ongoing crisis over in Rhea. With the news in recent days that the inauguration of President Winters has been indefinitely postponed, we've been asking the question, is there more behind the postponement than an unfortunate disaster on an epic scale? So I went to investigate. I'm now here at Federation HQ over in Sol System, and it's a bit chaotic. All of the functionaries arriving to assist President Winters have been told they can't unpack their boxes, as the previous residents haven't packed theirs yet, as the inauguration is off. I have, however, found someone to ask. Hello, you're with the Hudson Bureau. Mind if I ask you a few questions?
Who let you in here?
Press pass, Hutton Orbital. Is it true that Hudson's government has benefited from the delay in incoming President Winter's inauguration?
Not at all. President Hudson stands ready to support his colleagues at this difficult time and will, out of a sense of duty, carry on the duties of government as long as is necessary.
There's speculation that President Hudson personally funded a number of secret weapons projects of seismic proportions.
We don't comment on speculation about classified government projects or the private investments of the president.
But if they did exist, and speculation is rife about this one, and they did happen to involve giant resonant machines placed over fault lines, the president would benefit from such things?
That's speculation.
Humorous. We understand that in recent months, both the head of the Special Projects Division and Mad Magnus Cracker, the government's top seismologist, both visited RIA.
Look, matey, we don't like what you're insinuating here, and no such people are listed in official roles for this government.
I'm sorry, not insinuating anything. Hang on, just noting something. Mad scientists don't hold official roles.
That's not what I said. I'd like to see that press pass again, please.
Sure, here.
This says second form 50-metre swimming certificate.
Oh, does it? Oh, my mistake. Terribly sorry about that.
Look, we can't have random strangers telling everyone that there are secret plans to disrupt the peaceful handover of power to a new president now, can we? Especially when there aren't. Guards, arrest this person.
You all heard that? He's trying to suppress the press. He says we can't tell anyone. It was at that point that my signal cut off and I was forcibly ejected from the system. So you heard it here first. President Hudson's office have flatly denied that there were secret plans to disrupt the peaceful handover of power and that mad scientists don't hold official roles in their government. We approached President Winter's office for comment, but it was still occupied by Hudson's staff and they hung up on us. Mark our words, Hudson's behind this and we don't expect to see him handing over the reins anytime soon.
In happier news, we all like a good celebration. Our sister station, Lave Radio, has turned 11 this week. 11 years, imagine it. 11! Filled with a mixture of chit-chat, music, a bit more chit-chat, discussion, wild speculation and interviews for the last 11 years, we here at Hutton would like to wish them all a very happy birthday. Over the years, they've seen spinning sidewinders, the coming and going of presenters and producers. They've seen Edelweiss, no relation to Eddie Lee Wise and Sons plus his daughters, also of Lave Station, bravely holding the fort with a motley crew of presenters. They've seen off attacks by the Alliance for control of the station and systems, and much, much more. They've also meant that we can stay very silly, because they cover all of the serious stuff. So, keep up the good work, Lave Radio, every Tuesday night, around the same time as this show's on. That's 8:30-ish.
And before we go into the BGS roundup from Wanker, a gentle reminder, by this time next week, Operation Tilt a Titan will have commenced. Which means that either A, it will all have gone a little bit HIP 22460 and everything will be on fire, broken, covered in green goo, or have a magic smoke pouring out of it. You know the kind. The magic smoke that can't be put back in again and signals things going pear-shaped. Or B, galactic forums will be rife with people upset that their playmates, the Thargoids, have gone home with their abdomens between their legs in a sulk and aren't being allowed to play anymore. Or I'll be introducing a CG to deliver sticky plasters, soothing words like there, and most probably other stuff to one of or other side. Or maybe all three. However, being Hutton truckers and given that there's likely to be a shipwide system update sometime early in the week, we have prepared a survival guide for that short period when your ship becomes unavailable. A. The servers are going to go offline. Everyone will be grounded temporarily. Take the time to shut down your computer, remove all the dust from the inside, evict the spiders, tidy your cables. Nothing like kicking out the USB connector for your flight stick whilst being interdicted to ruin your day. Go outdoors. Listen to the Escape Velocity by Chris Jarvis. Catch up on past episodes of Hutton Orbital News at media.forthemug.com. 2. Back up your bindings. Trust us on this. 3. Step away from the F5 key. The update is likely to take hours. Those nannies, nanas, pans, nerf guns and nanites take a while to bring online. When the servers come back up again, every pilot in the galaxy is going to attempt to mash the download button at once. It will go slowly, other than for a happy few. See item 1. More escape velocity. 5. The patch notes. Go and read them. Avoid the temptation to ask the question, but what about XXXX when XXXX isn't in the patch notes? If it isn't in them, it isn't coming, no matter how hard you wish upon a star. Someone will post, OMG, what about XXXX on the forums? Airlock worthy. F? You did remember to pack up your bindings, didn't you? 6. Once the download has happened, make yourself a nice cup of tea in your Hutton mug. Everyone else will have just attempted to log in. The poor servers will be feeling a bit stressed. Some fool will put up a post saying, OMG, untested, so many bugs, crashed. They didn't read this notice. They're silly. 7. At some point, the adjudicator, he's a scary person, and his partner, the authenticator, she's mean, will settle down. Things will get back to normal. 8. Bindings. 9. There isn't a 9. Maybe keep an eye on the patch notes. 10. Familiarise yourself with how Hutton approaches bugs. Camera deployed, notepaper handy, and the bug reporting system on speed dial. Someone will put up a forum post. OMG, untested, so many bugs, crashed. And yes, they're still silly. 11? Those bindings you backed up. By this point, you'll either know you didn't need them or be seriously grateful you did. Especially when you deploy hardpoints near a Titan and realise you've just ejected all your nanite-infused mega missiles.
Things are going through somewhat of a "what do you mean I've missed Pancake Day? It's still February, isn't it?" vibe in Hutton Space this week. 6 systems are on Alvin's report, and only one system needs a bit of help. More on those stories coming up. Finally, we have a new holder of the wooden spoon, but not for the reason you'd expect. Last week's 5th lowest system, hard to move Epsilon Indy, lost just 2 points, falling to 34, which was enough to secure the basement spot. There's an outbreak pending in Hutton's most popular system, so stock up on meds and pre-position your fleet carriers in orbit to deliver supplies once the R number gets above 0. Next slide, system please. Narnia gained a point, rising to 35. There's no particular threat, but turbulence amongst the other factions have seen a rise at our expense. Feel free to boost Hutton's influence. Usually hovering in the low 40s, Kakari has suffered a decline in the last week and a half, leaving it sharing a perch with Narnia on 35. A civil war is locking up a fifth of influence, and we should see a rebound on the conclusion of that. Fourth worst is long-time holder of the wooden spoon, Ross 671, which unexpectedly left behind the 20s to almost reach 40 before falling back and settling on 36. Last week's pending outbreak is in full swing, so ship in meds to relieve the misery. Lastly, Barnard Star and Stein 2051 each have a cheek planted on the same naughty step on 37. The infrastructure failures in Trepin, Y0855-0714 and 36 Offuyuki were all fixed in the week, so they should all fail at the same time again in a couple of months. At the overachieving end of the Hutton systems table, we have just 2 systems above 60%, and last week we expanded to Ass Garage. No, not Ass Farage, that's something else. This is clearly where someone parks one's ass. Perhaps they should have called it chair. Priorities this week are, if you want to chuck something, relieve the outbreak in Epsilon Indy, and boost Narenses.
Well, I mean, we're not doing bad. We've only got 2 buttons not working.
Who stole all the seams?
Of
We've moved
3.
to a new studio. We've got a new button pusher. And who stole all the seams?
I was going to say, is one of those buttons that's not working the record button?
Oh, God, I hope not.
No, it's the stream button. Nobody's listening.
Nobody's listening anyway. That's every week.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
fair point.
Well, we have buttons. Some will work. Some might not. But we're gonna, we're gonna try. But the important thing is we have a birthday this week. In fact, no, 2 birthdays.
2 birthdays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do we sing it twice or do we sing it once?
And the fire suppression system cope.
Let's sing it just the once, but put all of our effort. Put the effort of 2 songs into it. How's that?
Sounds.
So you're saying singing to 2 different pitches and 2 different frequencies for ourselves as we go? Yeah.
As usual.
Yeah, that's
same as
normal.
usual.
Yeah. I didn't realise we were cutting it down to 2 pitches and 2 frequencies this week.
Of course, that is if the happy birthday song button works.
Yeah. Who are we singing to then? We've
Well,
got Wave Radio who are 11.
cares?
Yes.
Who cares?
It's Hanky.
Yeah, how old are they?
And Hanky, of
Yeah.
course, King
He'll be
Hanky.
60.
He's a big 60, right? Okay.
It's
Yeah, so
a
Hanky's
big
60.
one.
How old's Wave Radio?
11.
Sorry, how old?
11.
Sorry, I'm not quite catching it.
10 and
It's
4
like,
quarters.
isn't
Oh, right. Okay, gotcha.
So, are we ready?
Yes.
As we'll ever be.
Don't be daft.
Me. Him.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Live Radio and Hanky. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
And many
Like 1,
more.
2.
Yeah, that'll
was
make
the
them
best in
both
a
feel
while.
appreciated and loved.
Yeah. They won't be worrying about how old they are now, will they?
No, just the bleeding from the ears.
Bleeding from the ears will cover that, yeah. Yeah, it's fine at their age.
And the button works. Not that it matters because we couldn't hear the song over all of us anyway.
No, we never can.
But it worked.
That's because we were all so fabulous and belted it out.
But it gives us a good intro.
Yes.
Are we going to stick to the script, or are we just going to
Nah.
do random bits?
When do we ever stick to the script?
There's a script?
Did we have a Frontier live stream?
Nah, don't be daft.
Right,
there's one-
done that. Moving on.
Do we know when the next Frontier live stream is?
Well, we think it's rumoured, it's strongly rumoured that it's next week, on Wednesday.
On Wednesday.
Who's been spreading
that-
these rumours?
Frontier.
Oh, that is a strong rumour, isn't it?
That is a rumour then.
Is this like the jam tomorrow, jam yesterday, and never jam today rumour?
That's speculation.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to speculate.
That's expectoration.
So, yeah.
So next Wednesday, and
That would be 2 in a row.
well, it
Dun,
would,
dun,
but
dun.
they are monthly, so don't hold your breath.
Yeah.
And on Monday, as far as we know,
Monday.
we can't confirm nor deny, but we can only speculate. That we're getting update 18.
I think find speculation is Live Radio's job.
Yes. We think we are led to believe that update
Yes.
18 is going to be released on Monday, because that's the last we
Nice.
heard 4 weeks ago.
Yes.
Yes. So,
And they've said nothing against that since. So.
no, that's right.
Yep.
Until we're told different.
Mind you, they'll still be at work tomorrow, so, you know. Yeah, they've
true.
got all day tomorrow.
Yep. So does anybody remember what was in it?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I mean,
Tom Kuehl said before he left on Twitter that it was the coolest thing he'd ever seen. And he was very, very happy and very proud to have worked on it, whatever it is. So no, we don't know.
Specifically patch 18?
It does. I think the tweet does say 18.
I think he said something like there was something that he'd written that was in it that was going to be amazing, but we'd all have to wait till patch 18 to see what it was.
Correct. Yes, the tweet is on the forums if you really want to go. Just search on the forums for update 18, and it's right there.
Yeah, there's that. There's supposedly the whole Titan thing, isn't there?
Shooting the flower people.
All the nanas and their nanas. But
Yeah.
no nans.
It sounds a bit like when you attack capital ships, you've got to take out the kind of heat sink things, isn't it? The heat management or something. And then they retreat.
Yep.
So it sounds very much like that.
I'm
kind
normally
of thing.
dead by that point. I don't know.
Yeah.
Only space confetti.
Yes. From Stardust you came, and to Stardust you shall return.
That's right. I just borrowed all this stuff for a while.
Yep.
So, I have made a new button especially for space news, and I have never pressed it.
Oh,
Stand back, everybody.
it's time.
I know, right? Are you ready? Let's see if this
Yes.
works.
No.
Stand back.
When you don't know where to get more space news, 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 space news.
Okay, it didn't work.
Yeah, it did.
Don't
Worked
work.
perfectly.
It was a bit anticlimax.
No,
I was expecting it not to work.
I meant to have a slideshow up as space news pictures.
Not
Oh,
for 28
Oh, wait a minute. I think that was the... Okay,
never mind.
so hold on. Let me try this again.
It's all right, we can do the space news without pictures.
There we go.
Don't know where to
yeah.
get more space news, space
Floor mopping
news,
guy.
space news, space news, space news, space news,
articulated
space
mop.
news, space news.
That's his combat lock.
It's like he's nunchuck mob.
And let's face it, we can never get enough of that song.
Yes. It's very
Yeah.
good.
It's a very catchy. It's a very catchy tune. So what's up first?
Well, we still have no word from Voyager 1. We think it's had
Sad.
it.
Very quiet.
We think it's broke. But looking into the story, I did find a very cool graphic, which if you kill the X at the top of the screen,
Yep.
click the X, that'll get rid of all that crap on the left. There you go.
Oh, look at
And
this.
now, if you zoom out a little bit, if you roll your mouse button back,
It just makes Voyager smaller.
all right, click on solar system at the bottom.
Okay. There we go. Traveling to the solar system.
And now it should make. There you go. You got control of the whole. There it is. If you zoom out, you can see.
You have
Control
of
of the
Voyager.
whole system.
You
Wow.
control Voyager now.
This is like the golden shot. If anybody, most of you
Yeah.
to
No,
remember that.
Left a
we're
bit,
a
Left a
little
bit,
bit
right
too
a
young
bit,
for
down a
that.
bit.
Oh my
Fire!
god, this is so cool. Oh
you
wow,
can
there's
see-
there's Hal Bop.
If you if you come out a little, there you go. You can see Voyager 1 there, and you can spin it around
Pioneer
left and
11.
right. You can spin it around left and right.
God.
Mainly, you have to grab the screen and move it left and there you go.
Look
You
at
can
that.
see where everything is
Well, there's
including.
Eris. They've started putting Eris on the map now.
Yeah.
Well, it gives you some context here. So, and you can see all the
New
various probes.
Horizons.
You zoom out just a tiny bit.
I can't. It's all
There
moving
you
too
go.
fast. I can't see New Horizons.
So
Oh,
Voyager
Pioneer
1 and Voyager
11.
2 there.
Oh, look
New
at
Horizons
Pioneer
is
11.
close to
There we,
Pioneer 11.
there we go. That's
Yeah.
that's on NASA's JPL Voyager page if anybody wants to play around with that. But you
I
can
didn't
see-
That
realise-
is so cool.
it's good,
Didn't
isn't it?
realise Pioneer 11 was still going. It's nearly as far out as Voyager 1.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they
Pioneer
went,
10
went
as well
first.
out there.
They went out first.
Oh, yeah, Pioneer 10. That's off on a tangent of its
Yeah.
own. Wow.
The Pioneer 10's on its own. It's whereas the other 4 all went in not in the same direction, but all the same half of the solar
Yeah.
system.
So, I
They
take
used
it,
a
I take it
similar
then that,
alignment for gravity assists, didn't they?
Yeah.
yeah. I take it then that Pioneers don't have messages for the aliens or aren't beaming anything back anymore, that they're just
No, they are
Space
no
junk.
longer alive, unfortunately.
yeah. That's
Wow,
very cool.
this is very cool. I could
Look how
spend
far they are as well.
I could spend
You also
hours
have-
fiddling with this.
There's the
You-
Parker Solar Probe, right in by Mercury.
Yeah.
The last time we heard from Pioneer 10 was over 20 years ago.
Yeah. Well, it's been busy.
Oh, and if you click on anything, it tells you a little blurb about it
There you go.
with pictures.
Ooh,
Super cool.
nice.
So it's we can post
There's Bennu.
we can put the link for that if people want to
Best.
look at that. Not now, not now.
Are you clicking on moons?
You're watching the show now, but if you click on that link that I've just popped into the chat,
That is very
that's
clever.
where it is.
I love Hail Bop. That I remember seeing that comet.
I always think of Mbop. Mbop.
that was something else.
It was
Anyway,
kinda, it's kind of like the highlight of my.
Was Mbop no the one with the whole? Sorry,
Yeah, you could see
it's a
it.
highlight.
You know,
Yeah,
it-
naked eye visible, very clear in
Yeah.
the sky.
very clear. It had a massive tail. It was just stunning. I'll never forget it. It was-
Statistically, we're overdue another one of at least that brightness, given how often they tend to turn up. They just keep fizzling out and not doing anything, the ones that get in close. So,
like number 18 buses.
yeah.
Yeah. Was Hailpop not the one that the cult decided that we're going to hitch a lift on?
Good luck with that.
Possibly.
No, it was very bad luck for them eventually. They
It was good luck for the comet, though, because they didn't get aboard.
Yeah, they didn't get aboard, but they thought by taking poison and killing themselves that they would then be transported on. It would free the spirits to be transported onto this, what they reckoned was a spaceship.
The only problem
Yeah.
with
Hiding
Hail
behind us.
Bop is it's got a period of 2,400 years, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
So they'll have to wait for it to come around again.
won't be seeing that again. Maybe John Collins will.
And this is actually real time, so they're moving.
Yes.
Yes.
That is so cool.
Yeah. But the distances are so big, you probably won't see them moving.
It's still cool. I mean, if you went into your... Oh, wow. Hold on. Let's go back to the solar system. I'm messing around with buttons here. So if you actually, like, sat and looked close enough to, like, Earth, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Can you zoom in on Earth?
You'd see an appreciable movement in Mercury in the course of a day.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Isn't that pretty?
Mm.
Yeah, Mercury's orbit's only something like
Oh.
85 days, isn't
I
it?
can see my house
Yeah,
from here.
88, I think.
88 days, yeah.
And the
What's-
moon's is
what's
27.32.
Oh, Imaging X-ray Polarimetry Explorer. That's cool.
Yes.
Yes.
That looks like I can see Central America.
And then you got SWAT down there.
Landsat 9.
Yeah.
That looks like Cuba.
Hours and
Caribbean.
hours of...
Then you get the Pacific.
If
I could get lost in this.
Yeah, we're in darkness, so it's probably, yeah.
It's
Oh,
real
it'll
time.
be real time. Yeah.
Oh,
But
and
if
it's lit
you-
up.
if you come out of that page
Hubble?
further up the page, there's all kinds of stuff about Voyagers, the 2 Voyager probes, where how far away they are, how fast they're
We
going.
don't care about information. We've got a toy to play with.
We're playing with
Right,
the
sorry.
I
Voyager
wish I
1.
hadn't shown you now.
Let's have a spacecraft view. Oh, look at that. Pretty.
Ooh.
Oh, can you find... Is it Voyager 1 the one with the gold... There it is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
look.
they both got the gold disc on them.
Yep.
And we
see
actually
if
have a
it's-
close-up.
Yeah.
No nudes, please.
Yeah. See if it says Voyager yet.
Voyager.
That's very good. Of course,
Wouldn't
you can also do this in Elite.
You can,
Yep.
if you
It
can find
does,
it.
Find them.
it does not say Voyager, but it does have the gold record, so, bonus points
Yeah.
for that. And it's even got some of the little diagram things on it, so...
Yeah.
I mean, don't forget, most of that stuff doesn't work.
No, true.
In fact, if you come out and go to the page, it tells you which systems still work on the 2. There's only one system different on the 2 Voyagers, because most of the optics and cameras, they powered down.
Sorry, you want me to leave this fun
Well,
little...
I know we could spend the rest of the show all night and probably most of tomorrow morning looking at this, but
Sounds
yeah.
good to me.
I know what I'm doing at work
well,
tomorrow.
I've got nothing else to do. So
It says scientists think it will reach the inner edge of the Oort cloud in 300 years.
Yay!
Um,
The inner Oort.
yeah.
Yes.
it'll be going through. I think Ophiuchi is.
And then it'll
is
get
where
through
it's
to the
heading
outer
for.
port.
So, I mean, I know what an Oort cloud is, but many people listening might not. So, Chicks, do you want to do the honours?
I
Is
know
it-
what an Oort cloud is, but
is there a-
other people might not. So tell me what is
It's a cloud. It's a cloud of debris around our
Well, it's
system.
It's a cloud. It's a cloud made up mainly of Oorts.
Oorts.
And nanos. Yeah, it's all the crap that got swept out and didn't actually get included in the planetary stuff and the comets and stuff. It sits outside the Kuiper Belt.
A long way outside
Yes.
the Kuiper Belt.
Yeah.
Ice and rocks and
There's
bits
there's a few big things out there, but
Yeah.
not much.
Yeah.
And they're not very big things. They're like
Yeah.
asteroid
Traffic cones
size.
and shopping
Once you get
trolleys
out past the Kuiper Belt, there's very, very large amounts of empty space and just the occasional odd frozen rock or frozen iceberg.
That's why it's
They-
called space.
Yeah, they think it's probably where most comets come from, but it's still hypothetical, theoretical. Nobody's ever really seen it. It just seems to be probably the case. It's one of them.
Yes.
But it's another one that's really disappointing. It's not like you see proper asteroid belts when you're watching sci-fi movies where there's
No.
rocks everywhere. It's millions, hundreds of millions of miles from one rock to the
Yeah.
next.
They're so far away you can't see one from the other.
Could be
Which is
that.
probably why they never really formed into a planet or anything. Because
Could be.
they never drifted. Because usually what happens is the bits drift together and get smashed together, and then more bits get thrown in, and as it gets bigger, it draws more stuff in. But
But don't forget the force between them is 1/r². So
yeah,
But the force that surrounds us and binds us all together.
no,
Yes.
that's duct tape.
1/r.
Oh, you can't quite see the love heart on Pluto.
Oh,
It's covered
there
up
it
by
is,
the
yeah,
dark.
Probably in the dark.
It's night
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
It's got a little love heart on it.
Yeah. I think the back end is still a bit blurry because it never really took a photo of the back end, did it?
It did, but it was dark.
Yeah, there you go.
If you think about it.
So
It's
that
dark enough on the front of Pluto.
that little curve you see there, that white patch, that is the right-hand side, I think, of the love heart.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that they said is because Pluto's smooth, they expected it to be just pitted with craters and just be a rock. But what they're saying is because it's smooth, this ice must be getting turned over.
Well, there's only bits of it that are smooth. It's
Yeah.
Sputnik Planeta.
But there shouldn't
is,
be any bits.
Yeah.
Sputnik
No.
Planitia.
Yeah, exactly.
So they reckon it's probably some kind of internal heating. Or some, it's
Probably caused by Karen or Sharon or whatever you meant, however you meant to
possibly,
pronounce it now.
or very radioactive materials which are producing heat.
Well, it's ammonia.
I got to admit, I'm really liking the little blurb they add. You know, the length of the year, the distance from the sun, where their name
Yeah.
comes from, how many moons.
The fact it's not a planet anymore.
Yeah,
Once
Sort of
considered
thing.
the 9th planet. Bless.
Still considered the ninth planet in some circles.
Well,
Yeah,
mind
it
you-
was
mind you-
stated, wasn't it?
Mind you, some of the things that are floating about are actually bigger than it, that are moons and stuff like that. You kind of go,
I could try and. You think I should be able to con the audience that we're spinning this out, waiting for the second space news story
Oh, News Horizon.
to actually land on the bloody moon. But
We've got two and a quarter hours, though. I don't think we'll be able to spin it that long.
I don't know. I think Amelia's got it covered.
We're working on it. I mean, we've got plenty.
Sorry,
of copies left.
I'll get out of this,
Ooh.
and you can
No,
continue.
before you do, can you pop into one of the big planets, Jupiter or Saturn, and see if it's got all the moons?
Yeah, sure. Hold on. Jupiter or Saturn? Which one?
Yes.
Go for Jupiter.
Jupiter. So there's Io. There's Ganymede.
Even got the
Zoom out a little
shadows.
bit. Europa. Callisto.
Io's casting a shadow on the front surface.
Juno.
Do you think NASA asked Frontier how to do it?
I think it's
don't
only got the
think
big
so.
ones. I think it's only got the big ones.
Yeah. What the 4 Galileans. Nice. Okay, yeah. Moving on.
Yes, sorry.
Thank you for checking.
Hours of fun for all the family.
It really is. You could spend hours on that, just having fun and learning.
What do you
Science.
think I spent all afternoon doing? If you scroll up the page,
Yes.
higher up the Voyager, that's it.
Do you want the diagram?
Well, what I was going to say is you can see which of the original systems are still powered. So there's only one difference between Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 there. And if you go right the way up, you've got a real-time speed distance from the sun. Oh, there it is.
Oh, wow.
There you go. Actually, mission time elapsed 46 years. Half the
5
people
months,
watching
17 days.
some of the people in the studio aren't even 46. He speculated wildly.
Wow. That is so cool.
Yeah, how far away it is, how fast it's going.
That's such a cool website. Fun thing.
Well, it's NASA.
Well, yeah, but I mean, normally you have to dig through NASA to find little gems
Well, I
like
did.
this.
I did when I finally got to this.
Because NASA's big.
He dug through all the crap, so we didn't have to.
That's
Aw.
right.
Well done. That's nice.
But-
That's
well,
cool.
that's good.
I actually remember them launching.
I remember them launching. Yeah.
I don't, because I was not quite born yet.
yeah, you weren't at the planning stage.
I was almost.
You were
Almost, yes.
You're still in liquid form.
Oh,
You mean you
Aw.
weren't around for the moon landings? Really?
No, I wasn't.
landings.
I was
Sandrine
for the
was.
landing. I was.
Sandrine was as well.
I was technically around for the last of them, but I wasn't even out of nappies.
See,
And that was a legitimate time to not be out
Neither-
of nappies.
neither
I
were
wasn't
the
23 or
astronauts.
anything.
Flossy,
Well, yeah,
Flossy,
fair point.
Flossy, we're working with mere babes.
Yeah.
Me and Flossie can remember when the internet was still in black and white.
Well, I can.
Actually, that wasn't that long ago.
It's still in black and white up in Scotland. Ah, dear.
Right.
Yeah, I was born while there were moon landings happening, but I was too wee to see them.
I watched it
I remember watching it, yeah, my granddad's.
the night before I went out on a hike with the guides. Didn't walk very far. We were all too tired.
Who wants to talk about the next thing to land on the moon?
The next thing to land on the moon.
There you go, next story there. It's happening right now.
No, it's not.
Well-
Not for a couple of hours yet.
Yeah, I know. But
You have to lead into that by going, I mean, I know what the next thing to land on the moon is, but let's ask someone else,
Yeah, let's ask Mia about it.
Yeah, it's the Intuitive Machines American company set for moon landing attempt. Is that the thing
Yeah,
you mean?
it's the
That's the
second
headline
one.
anyway.
could you make it? Could you make it
It's-
sound any less exciting?
Smooth.
It's the
very
second
smooth.
one in a month that's going to be the first private company to land on the moon.
Well,
Yeah.
it
Although
could be
the one a month ago, we didn't quite make it out of low Earth orbit. So
well, it
it's
could
the
be the
first one,
latest piece of
potentially.
space junk.
Yeah, well, this one gets
No,
followed
it's,
in the last one.
no. The old one isn't space junk. They brought us back into the Pacific Wednesday, I think.
Now
It's gone now.
you have to be quite specific about this one as well. It's the first private company to land on the moon, so that doesn't include Wallace and Gromit.
Yes, because they were an individual.
Yeah, they were individuals. They hadn't
yeah.
formed. They hadn't
Yeah,
formed any
that's
of their
right.
companies yet.
If they manage to get down in one piece without it being a rapid unscheduled disassembly due to velocity, then they will be, as you say, the first private company to put something on the moon.
Mind
which
you,
is kinda cool.
you say in one piece, it actually gets to the moon in two pieces because
Oh yeah,
it baths off a camera
Good point.
about 100 feet from landing, so the camera can take a selfie of it landing
Yeah,
on the moon.
Yeah, the Chinese have really started the trend with that, haven't they?
It was Japanese,
Really,
wasn't it?
really
That's
good
one.
idea of a trend. I love it. But
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah. That's how come you can see that Japanese one that face planted the moon. I don't think that's what they had in mind when they set the camera. They're like, oh no.
So it should land. Mind you, David's not here, as I was going to say it should land like, at the end of the show, but David isn't here, so
No.
you might
Yeah,
have
we'll
to-
probably just be off air by the time. Yeah,
about 11:30 UK time
yeah.
is the estimate. So maybe an hour after we finish. Maybe an hour and a half.
At this rate, it'll be half an hour.
Or at this rate, 10 minutes, yeah.
Yeah. Right. We go to the next news story then.
is the one.
We can do.
Right. Next news
Yeah,
story.
Oh, it's the Grudian. Sorry about the spelling errors in this. They weren't us.
Yes. Do you want to spend a year in a tin box smelling other people's farts? Then we have just the mission for you. NASA seeks volunteers to simulate Mars mission. A 4-person crew will inhabit a 3D printed replica of the red planet to help develop and evaluate systems for missions slated in the 2030s. Now, first of all, a 3D printed replica of Mars, they could just get out into the garden and get some boulders. Is what I'm thinking, because I'm looking at a picture of it now and I can see a hill, which we have. You don't need to 3D print that. And
Yeah, but it's a wide, flat hill.
Yeah. It's only 2D. It's against the wall. And a shitload of rocks, which also don't need to be 3D printed. We have those on Earth.
We've got lots of rockeries, but we're
Sorry,
short on
this-
shrubberies.
This has nothing to do with this thing, but do you know they started 3D printing houses now with cement?
Oh, yeah. Aye, that makes sense.
Sorry,
on Mars?
continue.
On Mars. Yeah, they're going to use that technology on Mars. They're going to get it to build... If they can
Yeah.
get it to make its own cement, they'll get it to, they'll get them to
They're
start
trying to
building
get to work
habitats.
with regolith on the moon.
It's
Yeah.
going to be bloody hard to get a ready-mix truck up there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Funnily enough, blood is one of the things they're looking at using to bind the regolith together.
Oh,
There are other bodily fluids that work as well, apparently.
yes.
I'll leave the rest to your imagination and your own research.
Yes. So yeah, they're looking for people to spend a year living on Mars or 3D printed Mars. And it's going to be at the Johnson Space Center in Houston as part of NASA's CHAPIA. Crew
So Chappie from NASA.
Crew Health and Performance Exploration Analog Program. Why did they put analog on the end?
Because
otherwise
it's not real.
Because otherwise it would be cheap. So they want to use it. Obviously, they want to use it to test the systems and things that they'll use on Mars and that kind of thing. So yeah, it says used by the first generation of astronauts to visit Mars on missions ambitiously slated for the 2030s. And going, that's an understatement. So they're going to be living in a 1,700 square foot habitat. I don't really know how big 1,700 square foot is.
How big's that in bananas?
Oh, it's some. It's definitely some. Many, even.
Well, it's
It's pretty small.
it's the size of
Yeah.
my flat.
Yeah. They're calling it. They're calling
In
it
the region of
Mars.
15 to 20 square meters.
Yeah, they're calling it Mars Dune Alpha, which will simulate the challenges of a Mars mission. I'm assuming then that they're
No, I've
thinking of
lost the
building.
note there. 150.
Still,
I'm assuming.
positives. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get a year of isolation.
Yeah. you get a year away from most other people. I mean, there'll be another 3 people with you.
With lots of scientists shoving probes where probes should never go before.
It sounds like something that people living in the UK would be completely au fait with. You know what I mean? The resource limitations, equipment failures, communication delays, and other environmental stressors. But that's every day for us.
That's day to day, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Brexit. That's what it is.
It sounds too much like sailing around the world to me.
Yeah.
But drier.
With fewer waves.
And probably less gin.
And they're
There was
going to
no
pay you
gin.
for it. But they never said how much they're going to pay you. Right mix
If
of
there's no gin,
candidates.
not enough.
So, to apply, you must have a university degree in engineering, mathematics, or biological, physical, or computer science. And
pick
subsequent experience in those fields, or 1,000 hours as a pilot. Oh, fuck. Go for the easy one. 1,000 hours as a pilot. You also have to, right, here we go. You also have to be healthy, non-smoking, US citizen or permanent resident, age 35 to 55. I'm going to be generous and say that
Fell at the
they've
final
just
hurdle.
missed you in that one. Yeah. You should have this will rule you out as well. A strong desire for unique, rewarding adventures and interest in contributing to NASA's work to prepare for the first human journey to Mars.
Shit, I've just realised Donald Trump's too old. We can't send him.
Yeah, can't send. You can send them.
It said healthy. Anyway, he's already the wrong
Apparently
colour.
this-
It's
apparently-
red, not orange.
Apparently, this is going to be the second mission. They've already got a mission going just now. When are they due out? August. They're due out in August, the first lot. Oh, you wouldn't want to be the second lot getting into that environment, would you? It's going to be stinking. It's going to be honking. Oh, God. Mind you saw the people coming out of it. You know what I mean?
They've got showers.
Yeah,
Hot
but
water. They're allowed to wash, you know.
remember earlier when we talked about equipment failures and environmental stressors?
I love the bit
Yeah.
at the end of The Martian where they finally get... I don't know... Any spoilers, if anybody hasn't seen The Martian, stop listening now. But at the end of the film where they get Watney into the spaceship, and it doesn't work that well on the film. It certainly doesn't work as well as it does in the book. But as they take off his helmet, they sort of recoil, and he thinks he's had like a horrible injury to his face, but it's like the stink.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't had a shower in a year. Like in 2 years.
Dear. You can only do so much with a wet wipe.
They only last
Run
so
out of
much.
them as well.
There we go. So yeah, so that's it. If you want to go and pretend to live in Mars for a year, NASA will pay you, but you have to be a bit special.
Of course,
I'd do-
you
I'd
can't be
do it.
British, and you
You
have
can't
to
be
have
British.
you have to have qualifications.
You
Yeah.
can be British, but you also need to be American.
Yeah, you just need to be staying in America permanently.
You have to have a specific age bracket.
Yeah.
Just too old.
I'm just, yeah. Oh no, I can still have a go. All I need to do is get a university degree in 2 years.
In engineering.
Yeah. Oh, engineering or maths or
You-
a physical science or
Yeah,
computer
'cause-
science.
Yeah,
I
because
can lend you
that's an
mine.
easy thing.
Yeah.
I'll lend you
Or
mine.
a 1,000
Oh, computer
hours.
science is a piece of cake.
1,000
1,000
hours
hours
as
is
a pilot. I just need to
it's only
really
six
fucking hammer the flight
working
simulators.
months.
Come on,
It's
you must
only
have...
six working months.
You've got 10,000 hours in game. How much do they want?
I'll need to see. Do you know what? If
Yeah,
if
but
they
most of that
extend
was
it-
in the bar chicks.
They could extend that to cover something like media studies. I could probably do it in a week.
So you've got 10,000 hours in Elite Dangerous. What did you spend that doing? You nicking stuff from bases.
What did you spend that doing? Delivering mugs.
Yeah.
Yeah. When did you spend your time in the Elite Dangerous then? Well, I went to the other side of the galaxy and I came back. I put a big battery into a base and it worked.
Slaughtered a
I
few security guards.
Slaughtered a few security guards, so watch yourselves. Yeah, they'd be like, yeah, you're perfect. On you go.
Yeah, you're in.
You could, but you could just spend a year playing Elite Dangerous and not be bothered. Yeah, we need you to go outside now. Fuck off. I'm
Yeah.
busy. Can I take my laptop?
I've been
with me?
interdicted. I can't.
Yeah.
My spacesuit leaked last week. I'm dead. Just leave me alone.
Yeah.
Shall I push the button again?
I think
Yes,
you
I
should.
think so. I think
Okay.
it's time.
When you don't know where to get more space news, 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 space news.
And look at that, it even turns off the images at the end of the music.
Oh,
Marvellous.
That's some fantastic buttonizing right there.
yes.
As
Well,
programmed about 21 and a half hours ago.
Yeah, me and you in TeamSpeak, not TeamSpeak, Discord. We missed a few. Anyway, do we have a word of the week?
We do have a word of the week, and word of the week this week is merswine.
And what does that mean?
Dolphin or porpoise?
And can you use it in a sentence, please?
I can. Bloody merswine, shouted Chicks as his manta ray sank below the waves without a trace.
And you know what? We actually have a picture.
Oh, I need
No,
to see a picture
no,
of
no,
this.
we don't. No, sorry,
No,
that's
don't.
off the next thing, isn't it? But I have put the spelling and the meaning as
Yeah,
the
I bet.
headline.
Just give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to copy it across to the chat as well. Copy, and let's find the chat. And there we go. There you
I'll
go,
see if we'll
chat.
carry us in chat tonight.
Yeah, it's good.
You
'cause
might
you
miss
get-
one.
I think you might quite like this one. It gives them something to shout at people.
Bloody mare swine.
Bloody
Yeah.
merswine! it's like ocean pigs. It's fucking weird. Right. Anyway, speaking of bloody
Anyway.
weird, where do anteaters hide in a flood?
In the basement.
Not the
Nobody said they were
basement, that'd be
smart.
the
Nobody
first
said they
thing-
were smart.
Underwater.
Yeah. No, over
Well,
water.
they can hide underwater and stick their nose up a really long way. So
Are they buoyant?
Oh, nobody's tested that
so-
one.
some of them might be Garland.
Yes. Anyway, where do anteaters hide in a flood? On an aardvark. With Jeff, usually.
Well, that button works. We actually have a
Right.
and this is the actual picture that we have
From Dusty Bot.
from Dusty Bot.
It's a bit of the air.
Oh, look at that.
It's an aardvark.
Yes, an aardvark. That's
Aardvark
fantastic.
Arc.
There's one up there with an umbrella hat.
I like-
See it on the top?
Yep.
I like the one with the shades in the front.
Yeah. I don't know if that's shades or if that's goggles, swimming goggles.
That's definitely
It look-
shades.
Yeah, okay. What is that? There's one standing up. I mean, you can see there's like 3 at the very front, and then to the right hand side, there's one that's kind of rainbowy green, kind of iridescent thing.
There's one there that's wearing an aardvark costume. It's an
I
aardvark
can see it.
wearing
Up
goggles,
on the top.
wearing an aardvark
And
costume.
an aardvark hat. Yeah.
Where is that?
It's
Two to the right of the umbrella hat.
yeah.
Two to the right. Oh yeah, I thought that's the one you said was wearing shades.
No, the one
No,
right at the
shades
front
is-
in the
shades is
center in the
front
water.
centre.
Oh yeah, he's wearing shades. Yeah, that one. I see the one you're talking about now.
There's also a little baby aardvark in the water,
There is
Yep.
a tiny baby aardvark in the water.
which is
What's
cute.
that? Is that a human hanging out of that window? Because it's not a porthole. Down at the front to the, you can see there's like I think it's an aardvark on a chain hanging off the anchor.
I think it's
But
safe to
there's
say
like this-
that some of these aardvarks are mutated.
Yeah.
I'm more worried about the one that's hanging his arse out the window over to the right of that.
Oh
Because
yeah.
that's 2 back legs and a tail. And
Yeah.
No, let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on.
Oh, I can see a human face in there. Is that Andrew Lloyd Webber?
I did see
It
that
is,
as
isn't
well.
His next great Broadway musical. After Cats, you get Aardvarks.
Aardvarks. Jesus.
Oh god. So maybe we should mention that it's a green room next week. It's a green room next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a green room next week. Thanks everybody. Mission accomplished.
Yep.
It's not just a green room as well. It's the 29th, so it's a leap day.
It's a
It's a leap green room.
It's a leap
Yes.
green
Yes.
room.
Anybody that gets left in the green room at the end of the show might be stuck there for 4 years.
Yeah. So if you're thinking of getting rid of somebody, make sure they're
Send
in
them
the green
along.
room. Make sure they're in the green room next week.
Instead of NASA bothering with all those people to go into this thing for a year, why don't we just invite them into the green room and then lock the door?
Bring a green room.
That's 4 years. It's just like Mars.
Because NASA are worried about their mental health.
Oh, God. Put the phones away. That would help them.
Now,
Being in the green room for 4 years wouldn't.
now, is it just me, or does the little holographic table that the Python is rotating on look slightly wonky?
Ooh. Oh, yeah, it's slightly, well, it's been taken at a very slight angle.
I don't know if
don't
that
think
was always been a thing, but I'm noticing it now.
Yeah,
It's always been a thing.
I don't think the table's wonky. I think the person who's watching it is looking slightly to the right.
Yeah.
They're just not perfectly perpendicularly positioned.
Yes.
Oh, that'll do it.
Or should that be that their position isn't perfectly perpendicular to their perspective?
Have you noticed
What you said.
the too hot, too messy has fallen over?
Yeah, it died a couple of days ago. I'm not sure why.
Well, it does work. It just needs prodding.
At least they apologised.
It is working.
How dare they,
I
that's my
just
job.
reprodded mine.
It's only the update that's not working properly. It sometimes kicks in, but usually dies.
I'm glad we're so efficient.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Flossy, are you ready for your CG bit?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okie dokie.
Picking a pokey.
It's Flossy. It's Flossy. It's Flossy. It's Flossy. And the community goes.
Hello, Flossy here with this week's CG News. Last week's CGs, the appeal for anti-Titan weapon materials is still ongoing and due to finish on Monday, shortly before the update, hopefully. It passed Tier 2 earlier today with 5,123,900 units collected. The Protect deliveries to YZ SETI completed around 1 a.m. on Sunday morning, with 70,377,877,760 credits earned. The top 75% of both CGs will receive a 4D hull reinforcement package. The top 50% will receive a 5D hull reinforcement package and a Ramtar high-capacity heatsink launcher, and these rewards are cumulative. There are no new CGs this week, so that's it for this week's CG News.
Flossy told you what to do.
And now it's time for Galnet News Digest with Beetlejuice and Motherspoon.
Galnet News Update, 22nd of February 3310.
With the anti-Titan nanite torpedoes about to be released on Monday, it's perhaps a good time to take stock of some of the stories that have been forgotten about since last year. What happened to Salvation? To the Thargoid Whisperer D2? How are those people rescued from the Titans and returned into their communities by the Alliance getting on? Salvation was believed killed when the Proteus wave went so disastrously wrong in August 3308. Yet Sojin A, the former Azimuth test subject, claims that Salvation's consciousness was copied into the Guardian-powered Nemesis device, and that Robo-Salvation continues to plot its ruthless destruction of the Thargoids from this crystalline prison. If, as is believed, all Guardian technology is linked in a transgalactic network, and if the Guardian relics, as recently revealed, form part of this network, then it is far from inconceivable that the nanite torpedoes that Aegis is preparing to launch at the Thargoid Titans next week might contain tiny copies of Salvation's consciousness. What might happen when those two irreconcilable foes come into violent and heated conflict at very close range?
There are, of course, other people who've come into very close contact with the Titans. The Thargoids collected tens of thousands of people from the systems they conquered and put them in tiny life support capsules under the skin of the Titans. Many have been rescued and appear once revived to be in perfect mental and physical health. The Federation and Empire are highly suspicious of these rescued prisoners and have kept them in quarantine, but the Alliance has been allowing its rescued citizens to return home. Many of them have been back at home for more than 2 months, and as yet there's no word of an outbreak of zombie-like behaviour. Perhaps there's nothing to worry about after all.
The other, possibly less dystopian development on the horizon is the simultaneous glacial handover of power from Federal President Hudson to President-elect Winters, and the equally slowly unfolding sickness of the Imperial Mother and the angling of Senator Zemina Torval to become Chancellor when Anders Blaine retires. It seems that these two developments, one at the top of the Federation and the other at the power centre of the Empire, might be in some way linked, and that both stories might come to a head at the same time in the summer. Whether Alliance Prime Minister Mahan and his arch-rival Councillor Nakato Kane are also planning on joining in with the fun is as yet unclear. Will we get newer and more exciting prismatic shields? Will the Grom Bomb be made as effective as the really rather annoying Glaive Disruptor? Will President Winters offer anything better than the Pulse Disruptor? And will Chancellor Torval be able to offer anything better than a mining laser that can also be used for very mild combat? We can hardly contain our excitement.
Thanks to Beetlejude and Wotherspoon. And now we go to Amelia Hawke for the Galnet Rares Digest.
You are about to listen to Amelia Hawke. She tries all the galaxy's most dangerous rare items, so you don't have to.
Having proverbially opened the book on some exceedingly rare galactic items last week, and of course spent a little time at the cloning of Steve, or was it Adam, after his unfortunate incident last week, all of which was over my Friday afternoon, it was time to continue my Dark Wheel treasure hunt. This week, I've been to the planet Gerati. Not easy to find as it's outside the bubble by quite a way, but I managed to hitch a ride on a passing fleet carrier, slip the carrier commander a few signed copies of the Galnet Rares Digest, Guide to the Galaxy. The cover is adorned with the words, "Panic." No, really, panic, the galaxy is dangerous. And popped over to 19 Phi-2 Ceti, also known as Gerati. The rare that I'm hunting this week is the gold-flake scale of the Geratian reptile, purported to have been on sale in the galaxy many generations ago, but more recently it hasn't been seen anywhere except rare manuscripts. Gerati is a lush but volatile world, with harsh jungles, vast deserts, huge expanses of ice, and looking at geological records going back around 500 years from an orbiting satellite, experiences more global climate change in short periods than almost anywhere I've seen in the galaxy. Unlike Earth, where climate change over the various ages and epochs have been a slow process, except during the early 21st century when humanity turned the knob up to too far hot. far too hot, and either cooked everyone or flooded everyone or both, this planet appears to experience swift changes in climate globally on a regular basis. This has led to some rather spectacular evolutionary changes in the wildlife. They've adapted as protection against the changing climate to, instead of evolving, specialising, dying, and then passing the torch to another species to be the top creature on the planet, to harness the abundance of natural minerals on the planet as protection, and having evolved as far as they can, stop evolving. They've quite literally taken to using the mineral content of the planet as protection. There are creatures with bioluminescent carbon fibre nanotube fur, others with hard crystalline claws, diamond-hard carapaces, and even the incredibly rare goldflake geratean reptile. Scientists believe that the absorption of and the use of gold on their outer shell enables them to be very efficient at thermoregulation. The reptiles themselves are actually, other than gold colouring, nothing special to look at. They're perfectly ordinary, rather inert lizards. The only problem is that they only eat their special diet when the conditions require it, only acquiring their gold hue when it's necessary based on the temperature of the planet, which has geological epochs as often as we have our seasons. To get my hands on some of these gold flake scales, which are intricately grown into wild patterns, more beautiful than even most gifted craftsperson can make, luckily, I don't have to wait for the conditions to be just right and go about trying to separate lizards from their skins. It's an entirely different creature that I need to hunt. The geratean glint mite. Attracted to anything shiny, the glint mite hoards discarded scales in its burrow. And glint mite burrows are an absolute gold mine of gold. Glint mites don't have much in the way of natural protection of their own, but rumour has it that the best way to find a glint mite is to look for mammoth sapwood trees, the roots of which are the favoured burrow locations for glint mites. Steve 2 and I, don't worry, Steve 2 knows nothing about last week, and he seems to have a similar outlook to Steve, one when it comes to lending a hand with exploration. Anyway, Steve 2 and I have set out from the Galnet Rares Mamba and... oh, right, yes, I sold the rare from last week for a lot of credits and I'm now flying a Mamba. It's just so comfy. Anyway, Steve 2 and I have managed to find a clearing near what we think is one of the mammoth sapwood trees. Flying over the tree canopy, you can recognise them from the roots that spread out around the tree like a network of serpents. The air is really musky, the smell of ancient wood as we step towards the tree. We're looking for the kind of root that might have a burrow under it, the telltale signs of passing mites, drag marks in the dust, a bit of an opening under a root. Oh, that's one there. Steve 2, could you stick your hand in the hole for me, please? No, it's okay. I don't think the mites bite. Okay, if you insist, get the axe. We'll chop the root and lift it up carefully. Right, while he does that, these roots, I've prodded a few. They sort of wibble and wobble like they're full of jelly. They're not hard like normal trees, but flexible. If you grab the end of one, you'll be able to tie it in knots. And in fact, if I smack this one with my hand, you can see the ripples moving all the way up the root and then further up the trunk. Oh, yeah. What on earth was that splot noise, Steve? Did you hear that? Steve? Oh no. The tree did not like me smacking it like that. Steve's had a huge glob of what looks like some kind of amber sap dropping in from above. I mean, hang on, I'll try and pull him out. Okay, that's fascinating. It's hardened on the outside already, absolutely rock hard, but it looks like it's still fluid on the inside. Look, don't look at me like that, Steve. I'm sure you'll be fine. Your REM lock is deployed. You've got at least 10 minutes of oxygen there. Plenty of time for me to find some of these flakes, pick you up, get back to the ship and chop off that amber. Don't raise your eyebrows at me like that. I mean, trust me. Okay, just where Steve was about to cut, I'm digging very carefully with my vibro spade. I'm being very careful not to touch the roots. And, oh wow, I mean, just below the surface, it's crawling with glint mites, hundreds of them. And let me just move them aside to see what they're protecting. We struck gold. Oh, would you look at it? There must be like 20 or 30 gold scales the size of my thumbnail here. Oh, the mites do not like me taking their gold. They're swarming. These things don't bite, do they? I mean, get them off. Okay, it's okay. They couldn't get through my suit. Anyway. Okay, I've made it back to the ship with a few handfuls of these gold flake scales, and having polished a few of them on my sleeve, I can see why they command such prices. Oh, the whorls and ridges on the gold flake scales are absolutely stunning. As for Steve 2, well, that amber hardened a little faster than I thought it would. This is Amelia Hawke reporting for the Galnet Rares Digest. I've stolen some gold lizard scales from the burrow of a bunch of very angry glint mites and ended up with a statue of Steve 2 in amber. So you don't have to. Steve 2. May he rest in peace.
Yeah, well, one big piece of amber.
Yeah, one big piece.
Just think, a few million years from now, some idiot will try and resurrect the entire race by poking holes in him.
Well, I think it's another trip to the cloning centre.
Yeah, I think we might need Steve 3 for next week.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Is it ethical to number them? Yes, it's fine.
As long as you don't do it to the face, I think it's fine,
yeah. Yeah, it's fine.
I mean, it would be more unethical not to number them, surely. That would show a wanton disregard for how many of them you'd gone through.
That's very true. That's very true. I think I'm going to heed your advice.
Yeah. Steve 3.
Steve 3.
Just don't tell him.
So, I think that's all the script we've got.
Yeah, we've run out.
We've run out of script.
Yeah, and it's still an hour and 40 minutes until we land on the moon.
Yeah.
It's sometimes not a bad thing, you know.
So has anyone got any last words before we close up for the week?
What, are we going to get put up against a wall and shot or something?
You never know.
I'll just reiterate, Steve 3.
4, opening fire.
No,
so I guess this is just the last. Flossy, are you ready for the klaxon?
Yep, I'm ready.
Okay, here we go.
For the mug!
For the mug!
For the mug!
For the mug.
Journey too long, or cargo too small. Profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We're taking anything, anytime, anyway. Loading all the teen out to the brim with the rest for the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Yeah, everybody sing the trucker song. Flossy always seems to crash into the sun. Skibble lies the pilot on the Xbox One. Alvin at the front, you know he leads us. Well, trucking across the galaxy, now everybody out for the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Everybody sing the Hutton Truckers song. For the more, for the more, for the more. You know just where we're coming from. For the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Everybody sing the Hutton Truckers song. So give me a large path that I can land on, and I'll give you cargo and sing you my song. No point 22 light years to go, cruising to no journey too long, no cargo too small. The profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We're taking anything, anytime, anywhere. So shout it out loud, like you don't even care. For the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the more, for the more, for the more. Everybody sing the Hutton Truckers song. For the more, for the more, for the more. Yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the more, for the more, for the more. Everybody sing the Hutton Truckers song.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the show. Everyone's buggered off now, so why don't you bugger off too?
Seamless.